Welcome to part 2 of the history of Mesopotamia, Untangled. A state known as the Isin dynasty served as the third dynasty of Ur's continuation. For about a century, the region was at peace, until a rival dynasty at Larsa appeared, which took down Isin and had the next biggest threat, Babylon, where King Hammurabi had just taken the throne, next on the menu. Hammurabi is very famous, mostly for his legal code, which goes by an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. It consisted of over 300 different cases. Hammurabi was also a tactical genius. Instead of rushing to take over Larsa, he waited until Larsa's king grew old and weak, and only then went on a rampage, in which he took over it and all of Babylon's neighbors. An empire is born. Even after Hammurabi was succeeded, things were going very well. It seemed as if Babylonia was untouchable, and that only a sudden campaign from far away would be able to conquer them. And that is indeed what happened. All the way from Anatolia, the Hittites attacked and destroyed Babylonia. Meanwhile, the Kassites took advantage of the now leaderless region and took it. People called Hurrians in a state called Mitanni appeared as well. They were into horse-drawn chariots and were so successful that everyone wanted to get their hands on some. The Hurrians and the Kassites were in the Near East already, but only now did they get the chance to actually do something. While they were strong for this period, they hardly left any impression culturally. The Kassites stayed in Babylonia for a total of almost 600 years, making them the longest ever reigning dynasty there. The Kassites were terminated by the combined forces of Assyria and Elam. What is interesting is that while almost all of Kassite Babylonia's rulers had Kassite names, very few texts had actually been written in Kassite, implying that they had little importance culturally. They were in charge in Babylonia, but they were the outsiders. Meanwhile, Assyria had for the first time sprung up as more than just a city-state. Their new king, Ashurbanipal, had made them very influential in Mesopotamia. Even the then king of Kassite Babylonia married the daughter of Ashurbanipal, increasing Assyria's name in the Near East. That same Babylonian king died, and was replaced by his son, who was assassinated later in a rebellion. Ashurbanipal did not appreciate his grandson's murder, and invaded Babylonia, placing his own king on the throne. There was no denying that Assyria was a big boy empire now. Ashurbanipal died, Assyria went downhill for a bit, with Babylonia regaining independence, only to get recaptured once more by the Assyrian king Tikulti-Ninurta, who took much pride in his victory, and announced himself a very long title. However, his assassination followed, leaving the empire in obscurity for a good century.